So before we start, let's wait a few more seconds as people are coming in. Okay. Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning. From a European perspective, good morning. I hope everyone is fine, and I welcome you to our Code for Earth Q&A webinar, the first of two. And I'm here with Esperanza Cuartero, my colleague, and from Reading. I'm Atina Trakas. I'm based in Germany. Then we have our service provider, from our service provider Trust IDF, we have Sara Bozzi and Diego Domenici. And we have a special guest, that's Sebastian Steinig, and you will hear a little bit later who Sebastian is. Before we go into the details of Code for Earth, and I know you're all curious, but we are also curious, and I would like to hand over to Diego here because we have a few questions for you.
Thank you, Tina, and thank you all for being here today. So, as Tina said, we're going to do a quick Menti before we go into the actual Q&A section of this webinar. So I ask you all to please either connect to Menti on your computer using the link in the code, or to use the QR code you see on the screen. So thank you, Tina. I will start sharing my own screen now, so we can see some of these responses. All right, hopefully you can see. So we already have some responses coming in. From a friend, email forwarded by my boss, Phosphor G. I think you were there, Tina, right? At the Phosphor G event. That's great. Through friends, through the MetJobs website. Oh, through ECMWF. Okay, we have someone that went directly to the source, ECMWF. That's nice. May I ask if I wonder if the person that wrote email forwarded by my boss can write in the chat if they work at a university or at a private institution. I'm always interested in these competitions. I used to search for that. Okay, that's great. Came to the right place then. And let's see, I'll give a few seconds for more to come in, but we have some good diversity in responses so far. That's nice. All right, we'll stay with that for now. Let's move to the second question, which is, what is your country of residence? So where are you following this webinar from? Let's see, okay. That's somewhat to be expected, I suppose. Slovenia, okay. Germany. I'm also from Germany. I think that's another for UK. The QR code was gone too fast. If you want to connect, you can still use the code that's displayed at the top of the screen just by going to menti.com and inserting the numbers. Apologies for removing the QR code too fast. Someone from Italy, okay, that's great. Someone from India. Someone from France. So it looks like we are, for the most part, EU-based, but with some notable exceptions. Thank you, Sara, for posting the link. All right.
I have.
Oh, Spain. Okay. Okay, that's nice. We have a pretty good distribution here, actually. So that's great to know for both you and for us. And so thank you for connecting, especially if you're from from further away, and this might be bit of an irregular time zone for you. I'll pass the floor back to Athena so she can take you through the steps of the program, and she'll mention also how you can participate from different countries. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks, Diego. Interesting. So, short question. You see my screen again?
Yes, but not in presentation mode.
Yeah. That cannot change that right now. Okay, Code for Earth. Sorry. Yeah, I will have to deal with that. Let's wait. No.
Perfect.
Okay, we had the Mentimeter questions. Now, a short introduction. What is Code for Earth? I heard, or I could see that some of you are already familiar with the program, but let me just, for those who are new, talk or explain a little bit what Code for Earth is. So that's a key innovation action run since 2018, actually, by the ECMWF, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast. And since it has been supported, or it is supported by Copernicus, the European program, 2 European programs, Copernicus and Destination Earth. And since last year, also supported through partner organizations. It addresses mentor-identified challenges, and we are focusing mainly on earth sciences like weather, climate, atmosphere. Of course, we are touching topics that are relevant in Destiny and Copernicus, Destination Earth. And we are inviting external talents, call them participants, to contribute to meaningful project-driven solutions. Like you come up with solutions for given challenges. And once we have selected participants, they work in teams and they are guided by the mentors. These are experienced experts, and usually the challenges are real-world challenges, so it's nothing we just come up with, but you can use, you would work with real data, and you apply data and computing, and you do this with open source coding. Teams that complete their projects successfully, they are eligible to get a 5,000 euro stipend as recognition of their efforts and achievements. So who can participate and who can submit a proposal for the call for participation? This is a question that comes up every year. So Code for Earth is open to individuals or developer teams with a diverse background. So either if you are a data enthusiast or a programmer, or you have a professional background in earth sciences or computer science, software development, we welcome you all. Our focus is on students at all levels, but we had also professionals from startups or companies. So essentially the program is really open, is inviting, and essentially everyone with a vetted interest and knowledge can submit a proposal. By the way, this is a group of the participants of the final day event in Reading last year. So we will have a celebration at the end of the program, and I see a lot of smiling people. I would like to point your attention to the eligibility, and you can also read about that in the terms and conditions of the program and in the FAQs on our website. So any citizen or resident of a country not listed below is not eligible to submit a proposal. We have to follow certain rules because we receive also, we're working with many from the European Commission, and here is the list. But as said, you can also find this information on our website under the terms and conditions and the FAQs. A special thank for this year for our challenge partners. We have grown, so we have challenges, so-called co-challenges or joint challenges with ENSOI, the European Network of Transmission System Operators for Electricity. Then we have the Forschungszentrum Jülich, the research center in Jülich with CSOC. And we have Geosphere Austria, Helmholtz-Zentrum Herion. Special thanks to the partners from Helmholtz-Zentrum. They have participated as partners last year as well. And then we work with IFAB. They were also supporting us last year. That's the International Foundation for Big Data and Artificial Intelligence for Human Development. And a new partner is Aurora Tech. That's a company working out of Munich, I think. So, but let's focus now on how Code for Earth works. So we have 4 steps from the call for participation to the final Code for Earth day. This is the overview, and we will go in each phase. We will look into each of the phases in more detail. Let's start with the call for participation. This is where we are at the moment, and this is where you, the audience, interested people, prepare and submit your proposal. And I would like to hand over to Esperanza, my colleague. She will explain in more detail how this works or what you have to take care of.
Thank you, Atina. Hello, good morning, everyone. This year, Code for 2025 has released 15 technical challenges, which are regrouped in 3 big streams. The first stream is data visualization with 6 challenges. The second stream is machine learning for earth science applications, which under this topic we have 3 challenges. And the third stream is software development with 6 new challenges. All of these challenges are published on GitHub. So we invite you to go there and to browse all the challenges. And we are going to show you on the screen one example and it will go through the repository. So Tina, yes, thank you. We have this example is challenge 32. Is Noblev Open Data Explorer. This is the title of the challenge, which is under the software development stream. In this sorry?
Yeah, sorry, just it's just an example. We randomly took that, so it's not that we prefer one challenge over another. It's just to show you what you have to take care of. Sorry.
Exactly. Yes, it's only we go through the repository for you to understand all the sections included. In this repository, the mentors, or it contains all the relevant information related to the challenge. So we explain the goal. This example, mentors. Mentors are experts from ISNWF and other partners organizations who come up with the original idea of the challenge. So they are the best contacts for you to raise any question or any clarification about the challenge. Skills required is another part, important part, because here mentors have indicated the knowledge you need to tackle this technical challenge. So it gives you, because you can assess yourself if you have all the expertise, all the skills required for deliver a challenge. Description is elaborated with all you needed to know. Yes, the fermentation and evaluation criteria. This is the last section of this repository. Evaluation criteria, these are the categories that the mentors, the evaluation committee, are going to use to review, evaluate, and eventually rate your proposal. So not all the challenges listed the same criteria, but we are going to explain in detail later. But this is important before writing your submission. And GitHub give us the great opportunity for you to raise any question about the challenge. So you, at the end of the repository, you can, in this box, yes, in this box, you can raise a question because maybe you need some clarification about the challenge, you have some doubts, or you want for the mentors to provide some data, the data you can use, whatever you question you have, you can exchange messages with the mentors and eventually tailor your submission to the requirements of every different challenge. And something is important, please be notice the deadline of the submission, which is the 1st of April. Yes, we can see in this example, for example, someone has raised a question and the mentors of the challenge, who are the best persons to answer, are engaged with this participant, potential participant. Yes. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. We imagine that you have selected a challenge of your interest. You have exchanged some messages with the mentors of the challenge, and it's time for you to now to write or to craft your proposal, your submission. So we would like you to be success. And for this, we are going to, can you go to the, yeah. And we would like to share with you some 5 bullet points, super important for you to take care, to take into account before writing your submission. Please write a well-structured and precise proposal. Don't be very ambitious. Don't be very ambitious because your proposal needs to be feasible in 4 months. This 4 months is the period where you are going to code. So from May to the end of August. So your submission needs to be feasible, technically feasible during this period. So like a rule of thumb, don't add any complexity and stick in the requirements of the challenge. So be very clear, be very precise, straight to the point, and you will be success. Another super important and relevant point is include in your submission a clear timeline with milestones and deliverables. Why is this so important? It's because at the end of the coding phase, you are going to deliver an outcome. And this outcome needs to be approved and accepted by your mentors. If this is approved, you will receive an stipend of 5,000 euros. But it's important to deliver an outcome. This starts at the end when you are in advance outline your submission. Thank you. Yes. And we would like now to go to our website and submission in the submission form. We can go through because we have provided a template for you, hopefully for you, help you to structure your proposal. Of course, this is a contest, and if you need to add some fields or some comments because it needs to be adapted to your needs, do so. But nevertheless, we have provided some guidance. Which fields you need to fill out? Project title. Provide a concise and descriptive title for your project. Of course, selected your challenge. Yes, you choose the streams. What did you choose the challenge? Oh, please be aware that the red asterisk means a compulsory field for your proposal. So why did you choose the challenge? Please let us know personal or professional reasons that you have choose this one up to the rest. Project summary. This is, if you want, you can provide an overview of your proposed solution. These you're thinking about in advance give you a better understanding of the solution you are going to send us. So this is we consider is important describe with your own words what you are going to tackle. Propose solutions, objectives and goals. This is the main part of your proposal. Objectives, outcomes. Another irrelevant field to fill is the methodology, which tools with programming language, with frameworks you expect to use. Which data you plan to use. If you have an idea, you can indicate it. And yes, the last part is we asked you to provide a table of your milestones and deliverables. As I said before, this is quite important because it helps you to organize your own tasks during the coding phase. And yeah, we have Sev here with us. We invited him, and he can, explain to you the lesson learned or the advantage on providing this in the submission later. Plan to share outcomes and conclusions. It's up to you. It could be nice to provide it, and any additional comments or final thoughts. As I said, this is a guidance, this is a template, but you are very welcome to provide more information if you consider is relevant to your application. You submit.
Sorry. Then the next page would be your personal information, email address, name.
Exactly, country of residence, etc. Yes, we go through these tips and recommendations. And another slide is the evaluation criteria. Could you go?
Do you see the screen?
Yes, but we need the next slide.
Yeah, but I'm disconnected. Sorry. No, works again. Sorry.
Next slide. Yes, evaluation criteria. As I said earlier, these criteria are the categories that your mentors, the evaluation committee, they are going to take into account to evaluate and rate your submission. So there are, as I said, not all the challenges have the same criteria, but we are going through all of these. Don't worry, because all these criteria are very well explained in our frequently asked questions on the website. Yeah. So the first one is comprehensibility. Is your proposal understandable, sound, and has a clear timeline with defined milestones? Check. Second one is clarity and structure. Is your proposal clearly described? Feasibility. Is your proposal technically feasible in 4 months? As I said, I repeat myself, but this is important. You don't be very ambitious. Your submission or your development needs to be completed in 4 months to deliver an outcome. So it is important. Another one, future-proof approach is to maintain. Does your proposal contain a plan for the maintenance of the project after the final day? Innovative approach. Code for It is an innovation program, so any innovative approach, it is very, very, very welcome and taken into account. Does it follows the latest technology trends, for example? Ask your question. Transferability is, does your proposal include a plan to transfer the solution into the SMWF systems or to the open source community? And the last criteria is matching requirements. This is related to how well does your proposal match the full description of the challenge. The full description of the challenge is on GitHub. So one winner tip is stick to the requirements the mentors are describing in the proposal. Yes. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this is the call for participation, and the deadline is the 1st of April. And after that, We have a very, very busy time. Is the evaluation period when all the mentors, they will be very, very busy and very interested in reviewing your applications. All the ones that have been selected will be announced at the end of April. But please follow our socials, Code for Earth socials, and our website, and we will announce publicly who is going to go through the coding phase 2025. So now I hand over Athena, who will explain which is coding phase, which is the assignment phase of the program.
Yes, thank you, Esperanza. The coding phase, as Esperanza pointed out, we will start with the selected teams, and that starts in May and goes all the way through August. What does the coding phase contain? It's all about innovation, collaboration, and development of open source software. And usually during the coding phase, the teams meet once a week with their mentors, but this is really something that in the end comes down to the team and the mentors. So we had mentoring teams and project teams, they met once a week. Others, they met only bi-weekly. We recommend highly to start with a weekly meeting, 1 hour meeting, setting the scene, setting the timeline, everything to that you have an agreement with the mentors. And other than that, as said, each team is different. Some teams work really independent, but that is something that you have to work on or discuss with the mentors if you have been selected. Usually the feedback that we had from previous years, participants invest about 10 to 12 hours into the program. So it's not a full-time thing, but this is hard to say because it really depends on the challenge, on what you want to do, what you want to achieve, but that could be kind of a rule of thumb. In July, which is about half time through the coding phase, we will ask the select teams to provide an update, what they're finding so far, where they are, where they stand, and we call them, these are the midterm webinars. So we give the participants and the teams also the visibility to share the state of the play of the project with the broader community. And it's also, it's nice to get feedback from the community on what you have been doing. Additionally, some of the projects they put all their progress on GitHub, so people, the community can also follow on GitHub. That is the coding phase. As said, rule of thumb, weekly meeting with the mentors could be changed or could become a bi-weekly meeting, and the teams should work on the topic throughout the summer. Yes, then after the coding phase and end of August, so teams are wrapping up, the projects come to an end, and then we have the Code for Earth Day. That is the final day of the program. That is the celebration we will have. So we will invite the successful teams to Bologna this year. So we will be in Bologna the 16th and 17th of September. There's one day will be all the presentations, the participants, the teams will present their findings, their results. And there's also another half day on the 17th of September to do some more networking. That's as I mentioned, celebratory completion of the program. And one important aspect is, of course, you should network and you should have fun at this event. And the Code for Earth Day this year is also in conjunction with the 50th anniversary events in Bologna. of ECMWF. Good. Why should you submit a proposal? There are many reasons for it. We took out 5. It's, I think various people have various different motivations. First of all, by submitting a proposal, and if you're selected, you can join the Code for Earth community, and you will learn about innovative projects. You get updates on what is happening with Code for Earth. You can work on cutting-edge real-world projects, as you could see from the challenges in GitHub. You can learn from mentors, so they are guiding you. And as you saw, we have mentors from ECMWF, but also from partner organizations like European organizations, companies, and research centers. So it's a great opportunity to get an insight into from mentors what they do and get guidance from them. Then, of course, develop open source solutions that push innovation and yeah. As was mentioned before, I presented at FOSS4G, the free and open source software for geoinformation conference. So this is really, we are supportive of open source solutions. And we mentioned that also, if selected, you get awarded a 5,000 euro stipend after successfully finishing your project. Probably there are more reasons, but definitely I'd say it's a good opportunity if you have time over the summer and would like to work with professionals over a 4-month coding period to try it out and submit a proposal. Now I would like, as I mentioned at the beginning, we have Sebastian Steinig with us. So Sebastian was a participant in the Code for Earth edition of 2024 last year, and this year he's a mentor. So he can really, as we say in Germany, talk from the Nähkästchen, so give you some insights. And I would like to hand over to you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Attila. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to sort of like share a bit of my perspective or my experience from last year. Basically talking about probably like 3 lessons learned for me, and most of them are already touching upon things that Attila and Speranza mentioned already, but maybe from a slightly different perspective. So I worked on the Verify project, and the goal of the project was to develop an online dashboard for displaying and monitoring air quality forecasts for cities around the world. And this really should explore like whether we can use open source, low-cost air quality sensors to evaluate the air quality forecast that we do at ECMWF, whether it's a potential route for the future, because this hasn't been explored in the past, and we want to therefore sort of like make a first effort to see what data is out there, how can we use it, how valuable is it in the end. And you can see on the left, basically the dashboard that we produced. There are more pages of this, but just to give you a sort of like general overview. So listing air quality measurements around the world, comparing this to our forecast data. And the main lesson that I basically learned to be able to produce this sort of like dashboard that was actually useful in the end for people at ECMWF and still in use is actually to try to build a team to develop this dashboard. This was really, for me, the single point which made the whole program so much more valuable for me. Because I heard about Code for Earth probably like a year ago for the first time, so maybe similar to some of you. I saw this on social media, and I really immediately knew I wanted to work on one of these challenges, on this air quality dashboard. But I'm a climate scientist training, so I had some experience with handling the data, the forecast data of ECMWF, and also visualizing the data, but really limited knowledge of the best practices of how to really put this all into like a web dashboard, build this from scratch with best practices in software development. So what really helped me to find other people interested in this challenge was using these GitHub issues that were already mentioned and showed by Speranza there. So I found other people basically interested in the same challenge, reached out to them, and basically we discussed our ideas, our background, what we were interested in, and really quickly saw that basically by combining our forces, we could submit a much, much stronger proposal than individually in the end. And it's really something I would encourage everybody who's considering participating then maybe not really have found a team yet, but they know they are interested in this. Really try to reach out to other people using these GitHub issues initially. Maybe just write a comment, add your note, say like, I'm interested in this, maybe give your background, something like this, to get to talk to other people there, find like-minded people, maybe with complementary skills. In my case, I found people from a software consultancy company, which normally does more like financial software development. So they were really experts on the software development, and I could then basically learn a lot from them about software development practices. On the other hand, they could learn a bit from me about how to handle the data, how to visualize it. And this was really the part of the challenge and that I could focus my time on. So it's really, really beneficial for both sides to try to team up to really make the best use of these 4 months of time. And also another thing that I learned and which really worked well for us is actually like once you have formed maybe like a bigger team of several people there. So we had a designated team lead who sort of like handled all of the communication with the organizer, with Esperanza and Athena, and also like with the mentors, try to communicate, find dates for catch-ups, for review meetings, and so on. This really helped sort of like have a single point of communication for the team between external partners to allow everybody to focus on the individual work packages there more easily. The other thing that I really learned during the project was also already mentioned, is try to come up with realistic expectations of what you can actually achieve in these 4 months. So this is really obviously depending on your team size, your previous experience, the difficulty of the challenge. So this might vary for your own project, but I just put up sort of like the milestones that we defined for our verified project initially. So this is basically what we submitted in our proposal. And we split these 4 months into these iterations, 2-week sprints, therefore defining like clear milestones along this way. So like having specific dates for individual milestones really helped us to sort of like always keep an eye on, are we on track of delivering this project in time? Are we falling behind? Are we ahead of our schedule? Which also helped then the mentors to really judge whether we're on the right track, and also defining these smaller increments of work, these smaller milestones, then really helped to get specific feedback direction throughout the project from the mentor. So we could always say like the next milestone for the next 2 or 4 weeks, we'll be working on this package, on this part, and then could get direct feedback from the mentors, what they expect there based on our previous work, and we could always readjust sort of like our goals along the project. This really helped immensely to get this project basically finished in time. Also for me personally, so like I said, I'm a scientist, so I had a bit of an experience with project management, but not as much as my other team members. So for me, for example, personally, I guess a lot of you have the same issue. We try to sort of like overestimate what we can actually achieve in these 4 months quite often. So initially it felt a bit slow, this sort of like timeline for me and what we were proposing. But really, once we were in the project, basically, there are always so many new things you want to explore along the way, things that become much more interesting than you initially thought. So it's much easier to fill sort of like some days or weeks of your timeline with more interesting things along the way. it's much easier than just finding shortcuts throughout the project when you are running short of time. So really try to be realistic with your expectation, because it's a significant time commitment, as Atina already said. So like 10 to 15 hours per week or so roughly is something I would agree on. And also other things in life happen over these 4 months. So it's always, some people can invest a bit more or less time due to certain weeks. So always, again, having like a bit of a larger team that really helps to buffer these things, to have like a constant development flow and constant feedback from the mentors throughout these 4 months, which was really helpful. And maybe one thing, also the most important milestone, I guess, for us was really having the iteration number 4. So somewhere midpoint of the project, having some like a first version like actually online, so that our mentors could actually use the dashboard already, play with it, give much more targeted feedback than for the last 2 months or so of the project, which really helped us. So deliver something simple, quickly, putting this online, putting this in the hand of the mentors really helped to accelerate like the whole project. And yeah, just briefly, the last thing I would say, like lesson learned, is try to see this project also like as an opportunity to actually learn something new, right? So don't just focus your proposal on applying your skills to something that you only did in the past to achieve something as quickly as possible and then you're done, but really think about, or try to think about, something that you actually want to learn about and grow personally or professionally throughout the project there. Because I think this is really one of the key ideas of Code for Earth as well. And I think it's really supported by all the mentors in the project as well. So for me personally, this was to learn a bit more about how to implement my normal data analysis visualization that I do really into professional software development, and really guarantee that I can deliver like the functional product which works flawlessly in the future. So this was, for me, I mean, for everyone, these goals would be quite different, but really try to think about something that you actually want to grow and want to learn during the project. And for me, this is something that I now can use for my day job every day. So this is super helpful for me to participate in Code for Earth the last year, and just a couple of things from my side, and I'm very happy to answer more questions maybe at the end of the presentation.
Thanks a lot, Sebastian. Actually, we are at the end of the presentation. So now it's time for the Q&A session. I stop sharing my screen, and then we can focus on the questions. So
yeah, actually, we do have a couple of questions from the chat. Just so you can see, we have someone asking, how often will a team have a video call with their mentors? Does a team in their timeline have to provide milestones and outcomes for each week, or is up to a team? Like, for instance, could be every month.
yeah, so as Sebastian pointed out, as we said, it really depends on the team. You don't have to have milestones on a weekly basis. It should be manageable as well. But Sebastian, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, it's hard to generalize this again, but so we try to sort of like break this down in quite small chunks, so that we can have this sort of like constant iterative process of getting feedback. So we also had like weekly meetings, and then these 2-week sprint intervals of defining iterations, and having like a clear idea between the participants and the mentors what you want to achieve over this maybe like 2-week interval between or in between meetings really helped. And for us, it was just writing them down initially. I mean, we all know, and also this was the case in our project, basically the milestones that we initially had there, they changed quite a bit during the course of the project. So that's expected, right? So you want to be able to achieve your deliverables in the end, but how there were like some milestones changed, or new milestones actually came into the project once we started to work on this actually. So this can change, but it helped us to really have these smaller blocks of work where we could get quick feedback from the mentors.
Good, thank you. So
Yeah, we have a next one, which is in this case is on the eligibility of the country. So I am from India, but I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in Italy. Am I eligible to participate in Code for Earth?
Yes, if you are in, if you live in Italy until September, at least until September, until the end of the program. So then.
And then we have another one again. I am from Uruguay, Spanish passport, so I'm a Spanish citizen, degree in atmospheric science and doing my master now. Do you consider if I could be eligible?
Yeah, you're eligible. You're a citizen with a Spanish passport. You are EU citizen. There was also from, sorry.
Yeah, we have another one again about the participation eligibility and because the FAQ says that the countries associated with the EU space program are able to participate and mentions Iceland, Norway, and the United Kingdom. I am assuming that the European space program is ESA. Canada is a cooperating state of ESA, but does that mean Canadian citizens are eligible to participate in Code for Earth? If not, is there any way to be involved in Code for Earth other than participating?
So that is the EU space program is not ESA. The ESA is the European Space Agency. And the EU space program is the program of the European Union that supports space, and that is meant for the Copernicus. I, just quickly share my screen again. We have here the EU space program. You can read about it. So the EU space program, we have, and because we handle also Copernicus topics, this is what we mean. So EU member states eligible and the other Iceland, Norway, and I think Switzerland. So Canada, unfortunately, if you live in Canada or you're Canadian, if you're a Canadian citizen, unfortunately, you cannot participate. But if you are a Canadian citizen living in a EU country, you can participate. Yeah. We know this is not super straightforward, but we have to follow the rules, and we made them already as transparent and as big as possible.
Okay, so let's go back to the Q&A section. So we have another question asking, is this aiming mostly at students? How welcome are postdocs or early career scientists?
Yeah, sorry, I mentioned that we have a focus on students, but that's of course not true. Everyone is welcome. So postdocs are more than welcome, even professional startups. It's really, it's open to everyone.
So last year I was in my 5th year of my postdoc when I heard the first time about Code for Earth, so don't worry.
And so another question that we got is, if we apply as a team, does only one person apply or should every team member apply?
So please, only one person applies, but so in the submission form, if you have a bigger team, or if they're the team of more people, we ask you to put in the names of your colleagues, including email address, and each team member has to be eligible following the rules. But we would only one submission per team. And then we work with the main contact.
Great. So the next one is about data sets. Will there be data sets available for us to use? Are there correct or wrong data sets? Do we have to come up with our own data sets?
So you don't have to come up with your own data sets. You can use data sets from us. Respectively ask the mentors which data sets they would like you to use. But that is something, sorry, Esperanza.
No, they will guide you.
Yeah.
They will guide you with, or they provide to you the data sets you need to develop your project. So it's that.
So the last one that I have here is I recently finished my PhD and working as a contractor at UMedStat. Is there any conflict of interest?
Yeah, no. As UMass said, is not ECMWF. With ECMWF, there would be a big conflict of interest, but UMass said also UMass said is not we don't have a joint challenge with them, so there's no conflict on that.
I see there are a few more in the chat. There's someone asking, is it too late to reach to the mentors if they have already selected a team?
No, it's not too late. Teams will be selected only in April after we have received all the submissions. So please, please, please go and ask the mentors on GitHub. Now is the time to do it.
And then we have another one. How many proposals do you receive on average in the ML related challenges? So stream 2.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Well, no, we cannot really say. So we had challenges last year. Just to give you an example, we had challenges they did not receive any proposal, and then I think the highest number of proposal the challenge received was 7. So also for the ML challenges, well, it's the same. I would say 3 to 5 average.
Yeah,
But
it depends on the topic. I mean, machine
yes,
learning is very, very, broad. So
yeah,
it depends on the years also.
yeah.
There
I
are
would say if you have a very intriguing, good proposal, don't think about all the others. Go for it. Yeah. Good, I think.
We answered them all.
Good. Any last question from anyone? There's one more in Q&A. Stella asks, can we submit proposal for more than one challenge? Yes, you can. But you can submit multiple proposals, but in the end, you can participate only in one. So if you're selected, you can participate only in one project.
yes, via GitHub. Now, can I only reach the mentors via GitHub? Yes, please. This is the right channel.
And the last question, will this recording be available later for review? Yes, it will. So the recording will be available. You have the chance next week to hear exactly the same again. So you can join us again next week.
We will have more participants from other teams in 20.
And also, just in case, we have also the recordings from last year, the Q&A webinars. But, this recording will be available. And also we have another session next week. It is on Wednesday, 19th March, from 1500 CET to 1545. Good. Then, any last words from anyone? Guys, go for it. Come up with nice ideas for the challenges, submit a proposal. I would say it's definitely worth it. Sebastian nods also.
Yeah, and do engage in the GitHub issues there. Ask your questions, try to team up there. People are very happy to help, but we just need to know the questions and we're always very happy to answer everything that you can think of.
Excellent.
Listen to him.
Yeah. Good. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks for joining, and we're looking forward to your proposals. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.